Good afternoon. I'm Carl Capital Recovery. I'm a recovery coach here. This is our Gratitude Tuesday meeting. Thinking to ask the question, how grateful are you today? And what can I do to express my gratitude? Sometimes I think that, ask myself that same question. So, Gratitude Tuesday, it says how gratitude changes you and your brain. That's where we're going to be reading on today. So let's hop in here. All right, how gratitude changes you and your brain. It says recent evidence suggests that a promising approach is to complement psychological counseling with additional activities that are not too taxing for clients but yield high results in our own research. We have zeroed in on one such activity, the practice of gratitude. Indeed, many studies over the past decade have found that people who consciously count their blessings tend to be happier and less depressed. The problem is that most research studies on gratitude can be conducted with well-functioning people. Is gratitude beneficial for people who are struggling with mental health concerns? And if so, how? We set out to address these questions. A recent research study involving nearly 300 adults, mostly college students who were seeking mental health counseling at a university, recruited these participants just before they began their first session of counseling. And on average, they reported clinically how levels of mental health at the time. The majority of people seeking counseling services at this university generally struggled with issues related to depression and anxiety. And I like how it says, struggling with depression and anxiety and struggling with mental health, that, sometimes medicine and all that kind of stuff isn't needed. I'm not a doctor, but sometimes, expressing gratitude really can heal you. Like it really set your mood and change your mood and change your thinking, and it can make you really feel better. We randomly assigned our study participants into three groups, although three groups received counseling services. The first group, we also instructed to write one letter on gratitude to another person each week for 3 weeks. Whereas the second group was asked to write about their deepest thoughts and feelings about negative experiences. The third group did not do any writing activity. What did we find? Compared with the participants who wrote about negative experience or only received counseling, those who wrote gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health for 4 weeks and 12 weeks after their writing experience, and there suggested that gratitude writing can be beneficial, not just for healthy, well-adjusted individuals, but also for those struggling with mental health concerns. In fact, it seems practicing gratitude on top of receiving psychological counseling careers greater benefits than counseling alone, even when the gratitude practice is brief. And then that's not all. When we dug deeper into our results, we found indications of how gratitude might actually work on the minds and bodies. While not defined, here are 4 insights for our research suggested that might be behind gratitude's psychological benefits. So there's 4 things that can benefit you and your mental, physical. Gratitude does help in a lot of ways. And it goes on to number 1. It says gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. First, by analyzing the words used by participants in each of 2 writing groups, we were able to understand the mechanisms behind the mental health benefits of gratitude letter. Writing, we compared the percentage of positive emotions, words, negative emotion words, and we words, first person plural words that participants used in their writing. Not surprisingly, those in the gratitude writing group used a higher percentage of positive emotion words and we words and a lower proportion of negative emotions words than those in the other writing group. That's weird, these couple of sentences, but that's what it says. However, people who use more positive emotion words and more, we words in their gratitude letters didn't necessarily have better mental health later. It was only when people used fewer negative emotions words in their letters that they were significantly more likely to report better mental health. In fact, if it was the lack of negative emotion words, not the abundance of positive words, that explain the mental health gap between the gratitude writing group and the other writing group. Perhaps to suggest that gratitude letter writing produces better mental health by shifting one's attention away from toxic emotions such as resentment and envy. When you write about the grateful you are to others and how much other people have blessed your life, it might become considerably harder for you to re- ruminate or negative experiences. Um, yeah, so it's talking about like writing gratitude letters and gratitude list is one way to get better expressing gratitude. Um, Doing things that we really don't want to do, but we do it anyway, is a good way to express gratitude. Um, and it talks about unshackles us from toxic emotions. Our emotions and feelings are always there, loud or valid, but like expressing gratitude can get you out of self. It can get you uh, feeling more content with yourself. Um, let's see here. It goes to number two. Gratitude helps even if you don't share it. We told participants who were assigned to writing gratitude letters that they weren't required to send the letters to their intended recipient. In fact, only 23% of participants who wrote gratitude letters sent them, but those who didn't send their letters enjoyed the benefits of experiencing gratitude nonetheless. Because the number of people who sent their letters was so small, it was hard for us to determine whether this group's mental health was better than those who didn't send their letter. This suggests that the mental health benefits of writing gratitude letters are not entirely dependent on actually communicating the gratitude to another person. So if you're thinking of writing a letter of gratitude to someone, but you're unsure whether you want that person to read the letter, we encourage you to write it anyway. You can decide later whether you to send it, and we think it's often a good idea to do so. But the mere act of writing a letter can help you appreciate the people in your life and shift your focus away from negative feelings and thoughts. And it talks about giving writing a gratitude letter, and you don't even have to send it out. It's just for you to analyze it and express your gratitude on paper. There's a lot of things we say, and a lot of things we think, but when we write it down and have it in front of ourselves, it can put on a new meaning, which is very true. Um, and they said you always can write it, right? And you don't have to send it out or share it right away, but they suggest you do so. Sometimes we might not want to at the moment, but later down the line, we might want to send it out and make that I want to say sometimes make that amends process or so on and so forth. Um, Says gratitude benefits and takes time. It's important to note that the mental health benefits of gratitude writing in our study did not emerge immediately, but gradually occurred over time. Although different groups in our study did not differ in mental health levels 1 week after the end of their writing activities, individuals in the gratitude group reported better mental health than the others 4 weeks after their writing activities. And this difference in mental health became even larger 12 weeks after their writing activities. These results are encouraging because many of other studies suggest that mental health benefits of positive activities often decrease rather than increase. Over time, after we don't really know why this positive snowball effect occurred in our study. Perhaps the gratitude letter writers discussed that they wrote in their letters with their counselors or with others. These conversations may have reinforced the psychological benefit derived from the gratitude writing itself. For now, the bottom line is this: if the participant in a gratitude writing activity, don't be too surprised if you don't feel dramatically better immediately. After writing, be patient and remember that the benefits of gratitude might take time to kick in. And I think that's for a lot of things. We want to feel good right away. We want to reap the benefits, as soon as possible. But everything takes time. It's always a process. So don't get this thing. I think don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. You don't feel a sense of gratitude or why I do this and it didn't work anyway. It's just a process. It takes time, and it says don't kick in overnight. And that's very true. A lot of things don't kick in overnight, which we want them to. We would like to, but it doesn't. Life doesn't work that way. Number 4, gratitude has lasting effects on the brain. About 3 months after the psychotherapy session began, we took some of the people who wrote gratitude letters and compared them with those who didn't do any writing. We wanted to know if their brains were processing information differently. We used an MRI scanner to measure brain activity, while people for each group did a pay-it-forward task. In that task, the individuals were regularly given a small amount of money by a nice person called the benefactor. This benefactor only asked that they pass the money on to someone if they felt grateful. Our participants then decided how much of the money, if any, to pass on to a worthy cause, and we did, in fact, donate that money to a local charity. We want to distinguish donations motivated by gratitude from donations driven by other motivations like feeling of guilt or obligation. So we asked the participants to rate how grateful they felt toward the benefactor and how much they want to help each charitable cause, as well as how guilty they would feel if they didn't help. We also gave them questionnaires to measure how grateful they are in their lives in general. We found that across the participants, when people feel more grateful, their brain activity was distinct from brain activity related to guilt and the desire to help a cause. More specifically, we found that when people who are generally more grateful gave more money to a cause, they showed greater neural sensitivity in the medial prefrontal cortex, a brain area associated with learning and decision making. This suggests that people who are more grateful are also more attentive to how they express gratitude. When we compared those who wrote the gratitude letters with those who didn't, the gratitude letter writers showed greater activation in the medial prefrontal cortex when they experienced gratitude in the MRI scanner. This is as striking as the effect was found 3 months after the letter writing began. This indicates that simply expressing gratitude may have lasting effects on the brain. While not conclusive, this finding suggests that practicing gratitude may help train the brain to be more sensitive to the experience of gratitude down the line and could contribute to improved mental health over time. Woo! So improved mental health over time, expressing gratitude, and I agree with that. I experience some anxiety, depression, wherever the case may be. Sometimes we have to get out of our own way, and express ourselves in a way that we sometimes we don't want to, due to others, just for, not my own benefit, just for their well-being. It talks about like giving money. It doesn't always have to be giving money. Just doing something nice for somebody, and not wanting anything in return. Just being a decent human being when sometimes we don't want to. Watch what we say and how we say it. There's a lot of ways to express gratitude. And for me, I'm grateful for the little things today. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to actually work at Capital Recovery as a recovery coach. Um, you write these gratitude lists when we feel these negative feelings, emotions, or if we feel depressed or have going through anxiety. If we're going through, we can express gratitude even at toughest times, and that helps with dealing with our emotions and feelings. And, it can get us through because, all emotions and feelings shall pass, right? And like doing a gratitude list can help with that. It can put things in perspective. It can put, because we can look at what's going wrong and we don't look at what is going right, and that can put you in a negative headspace. That can put you in a bad spot. That can change your mood. That can, and you can lash out. Your attitude changes. So gratitude can go a long way. Sometimes we don't think so until actually we practice it. Like it talks about not happening overnight. It's a process, just like anything else in life. The more you practice it, the better it can get. And when I first, heard about, well, not heard about, but like tried to practice gratitude, it's like, is it really gonna like work? Gratitude is like intangible. You know, that means you can't really see it, you can't see it, you can't touch it or whatever, but it's all about, expressing it, through the actions. And um, so it's like, having faith really. And it helps, it can really help and it can really, get you through some tough times. Um, so that was our Gratitude Tuesday. And this information is at greatergood.berkeley.edu. Um, yeah, I was looking through trying to pick something. I seen this, and I'm like, this is not too bad. This is more on the lines of like, what's it called? I want to say on like a doctor scale, but they, talks about having people writing gratitude letters and like seeing the outcome of it, and how it affects their brain. So like on a science kind of level, kind of thing. That's how I took it a little bit. And then that's crazy how it can affect the brain. How gratitude changes you and your brain. And it takes some work, it takes some time. And I'm just grateful to be here. And so I'm Paul with Capital Recovery. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll be seeing you next time.